Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadi Tamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. It's on chapter 5 of self-unfoldment. It's about Sat Chit Ananda. Does the order Sat Chit Ananda matter? All right. In the Mandukya Upanishad, it is explained that Sat, Chit, and Ananda are not three characteristics of Brahman. They are not. These three are actually one and the same. And it is explained also very well that anything that exists is referred as Sat. The very meaning of the word Sat is existence. Now, if I ask you the question, do you exist? What is your answer? If you don't answer, that means you are inert. If you are answering, that means you are conscious. So, that word is Chit. That is, I am, when I say, the very fact that I know that I am is Chit, and I am is Sat. So existence of a thing, if it is not known, it doesn't exist. Yeah? Existence of a thing, when I don't know, it doesn't exist. And existence of a thing does not know itself, it doesn't exist. Think. So Satyahi Chit. Sat alone is Chit. Yeah, there are not two things. There are two dimensions of a same thing. All right. Now, what is Ananda? We loosely translate it as bliss or joy or happiness. But Ananda is not just a bliss or happiness or joy. In Taittiriya Upanishad, it is explained as Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Anantam means endless, beginningless, endless. Therefore, existence which knows itself is beginningless. Existence that knows itself is endless. Because if it ends, who knows its end? It's such a, that is why the philosophy is so abstract, you should understand deeply. If existence ends, who knows its existence ended? Huh? Can you ever say, I don't exist? You cannot. So the Sat is Chit. Existence is self-conscious of its own existence. And its existence has no beginning or an end. For if it is a beginning, so what was it before? Asat. And who knows its existence? Who knows its non-existence then? And if you say it ends at some point of time, who knows its non-existence later? So Sat is Chit and Ananta, endless. And extension of that is Anantameva Anandam. Because let us look at the opposite. What causes us sorrow? The sorrow is mainly because of some loss. LOSS. Is it not? If I have something and I lose it, it's causing me sorrow. Number one. Second, when I want something, I don't get it, I'm having sorrow. Second. Third, when I want something, I don't get it. So one is what I have, I lose. Second is what I want, I don't get it. In both cases, I have sorrow. Here it is said, that which is Sat, that which is Chit, that which is endless, has nothing other than itself. Ekameva Advitiyam. Now, because everything in this world, every object, every being in this world exists. So that existence can never be lost. And that existence can never be gained. So Anantatvat Anandam. There is no otherness. This also again abstract, because when do we actually feel sorrow? Not at the time of sleep. Why? Because at the time of sleep, I do not have the individuality who's seeking something else. I am with myself and I seek nothing because there is nothing. So Bhagavan was asked, what Bhagavan is asked, let us say, what do you want? Nothing. Why? Because I am everything. This one answer is, I am everything, therefore I want nothing. Or you would say, I want nothing because there is nothing. I am alone is there. Either I am everything, therefore I want nothing, or there is nothing other than me, therefore there is nothing I want. So that is the nature of bliss, you see. It is not fulfilling some desire or getting something you want or protecting what you have. No, none of those. It is because there is nothing that is outside it, or other than that, there is nothing. So Anantatvat Anandam. So they, again, this is not in succession. It is not Sat and therefore it is, and after that it is Chit and then after that Anandam. No. Sattaya hi Chit, Chittaya hyaham. Upadesharam Ramana Maharshi says, I am Sat, I am myself is Chit, and that is what I am. So, Sat, Chit, Ananda are three dimensions of a same thing. The different angles you can look at it, but they are not three different characteristics of a thing. Now, if I ask you, are you a human or a woman? Both. Right? You are both. When are you human and not a woman? Or when are you woman, not a human? How can you answer that question? I am both at the same time. One after another? No. Same. It cannot be saying I'm first human. After that, suddenly after some time, I became woman. No, it's not like that. So, in the same way here, Sat alone is Chit, Chit alone is Ananda. Sat Chit Ananda. That is the answer for that question. Every Sunday, every month, one Sunday, I am giving Vedanta test for me, hosted by Chinmaya Mission, Seattle. And that question paper also released only some 10 minutes before this. I can't even prepare myself. 10 minutes before it comes. This is the question. Answer it right now. क्या करें?
Swamiji, you don't need time, Swamiji. but we'll give the whole.
I know, but I'm just joking. It's so it happened. Yeah. Reference chapter 17 on self-realization. Okay, section on perfect balance. Okay. No. So next question is something else. Chapter 17. We tend to lose our sense of balance when we identify with our BMI layer, which has no stability. So balance impossible to achieve if I am identified with my equipment. So first of all, we must understand what is this balance. Reference chapter 17 on self-realization, section on perfect balance. We tend to lose our sense of balance when we identify with our body, mind, and life, which has no stability. These three are ever changing, and therefore they therefore are constantly pulling us up and down. Okay. There are many words to explain the nature of the self. One of the definition of that is avikari, unchanging. Anything that is created is subject to change because the very fact creation itself is a change. If I take mud, clay, and make a pot, the pot is a vikara of the mud. Understand that word? Vikara of the mud is the pot. Meaning mud has undergone a change without losing its nature, but it has changed in the taking the form of a pot. So mud has transformed itself to be a pot without undergoing a change in its nature. And since it has taken a particular form, it is given a name, pot. The pot structure and the pot. Now therefore, here body, mind and intellect are considered to be vikara of Brahman. With the help of Maya, the body, a physical gross body, and subtler than that mind, and subtle than that the intellect are formed, so to say. So body, mind, intellect are Maya vikaraha. Mayaya vikaritvat. Because it has been transformed into such a condition, body, mind, intellect. But again, keeping that example in mind, that mud has not changed its nature of being a mud to become a pot. So too, Brahman the Absolute underwent no change in appearing as body, mind, and intellect, so to say. So while body may undergo many changes, like our body has undergone many changes, mind also goes through changes. And if we identify with the changing nature of body, mind, intellect, there is no possibility of steadiness, stability. Because when body is healthy, you feel healthy. When it is not, then you feel miserable. Identification with change obviously make us either elate in joy or get depressed in sorrow. But when we understand the nature as Brahman, supreme reality, then there is no possibility of those experiences of changes. Like if somebody brings me in front of me a pot, uh, and which I know as mud, and when the pot is broken, mud is still there. I may not have the pot in front of me for me to use, but I know the original nature of the pot being mud has not destroyed at all. Only the pot is destroyed. And out of that mud, again, I put some water and clay, make it as a clay and make a plate out of it. So the plate it has become, but it is still mud only. In the same way, undergoing many, many changes, the body, the Brahma Tattva remains the same. When we identify with the Brahma Tattva alone, there is true balance, true steadiness. Otherwise, it is not. That is what is explained there. Identified with the body, mind, intellect, definitely there will be ups and downs, joy and sorrow, and all those things will be there. The nature of identification is subject to experiencing good, bad, right, wrong, joy, sorrow, etc. That is the nature of the ego. Ego sustains in those changes. Now, self-unfoldment, Sammamish neighboring good Jeder study group. Okay, there are three words, chapter 14, understandings, ahankar. As a grihastha, we straddle between, struggle or straddle, okay, interactions in life, family, work, seva. How do we manage to keep our ego in check? Is there a good ego or a bad ego and a bad ego? Now, as probably you know, we are having this practice of values, right? And this month's practice is egolessness. Let go the ego. So that will give you enough practices and how to handle it. So please pass on that message to those people and let them understand the ego in detail. In a concise manner, I can answer this. Um, Interactions in family, work, seva, how do we keep our ego in check? As I explained, ego by definition is that nature or a habit which make us identify with something or the other all the time. Now, for example, you have come to this satsang here, sitting there. You are here as a parent of your children, right? You came here as a Balware parent, and your children are there in the class. Now, having left the children in the class, now you are here as a satsangi, meaning you are attending the satsanga. In another half an hour or 40 minutes, you again take up the role of being a parent, where you go and pick up your children and children have a birthday party. Oh, no, 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 Oscar party. Okay, chalo. So you then go and go to friend's place and then Probably you have. I think today's Oscar. I am from Hollywood, so you know that. So you go to your friends, let us watch Oscar today evening, everybody. So gather up. Now, once that is over, you go back home, take rest and sleep off. Next tomorrow morning, you go to work. When you are at work, you are a, what do you call? Maybe you are, huh?
Wait.
You are worker. You are a professional who is doing whatever work you're doing. Now, your parenthood is an identification when you are with your children. Your wifehood or husbandhood is when you are with your wife or husband. Your colleaguehood, so to say, is when you are at office. Your satsangihood is when you are. So we keep identifying with the role or a situation and we become part of that. So ego is constantly on in some form or the other. Ego does not mean bad or good. I'm not talking about ego's nature is identification. And when we do not recognize that this ego is a relative entity only, based upon identification alone, it survives, otherwise, it is not. Meaning, I can choose to remain not identified with any role. And that is what you should practice in meditation. I'm not a parent. I'm not a satsangi also. I'm not a professional sitting in the office. So none of these things actually me. These are all situational, circumstantial, relative. I am, I am. That's what I am. Only, it's again, my identification as satsangi or a parent or a whatever is based upon my identification with the body only. If I don't have no body, am I a husband or a wife? Who am I? Am I even a human? If I don't have a body, am I human? So, primary identification of the soul takes place with a physical form. Secondary identification is I am a human. Then starts husband, wife, parent, professional, worker, slave, labor, brother, children, brother or son, daughter, good, bad person. All these things are there. So, as often as possible, at least once a day, you must spend some time totally disidentifying with all these so-called roles that we play, that you play, and then say, I am Brahman, Aham Brahma, I am pure consciousness. Only then you can understand how the ego plays. When we do not detach and look at ourselves independent of all these things, one role may clash with another, or in one role you may give more importance than the other role, or one role may give more pain than the other role. One role may be joyful, another may be painful. One role may have greater responsibility than the other role. One role take precedence over all other things. All these things happen. Only when we detach, we realize none of this is me. None of the sorrows and joys associated with this me. They are belonging to that role only, that particular identification only. This is how you keep ego under check. No one identification can be considered as good or bad. It all depends upon how you identify and how much you sacrifice others for that identification. So, ego is a big topic, huh? Very big topic. So when we try to understand how it works through us, then we realize how much we have taken it for granted. And many people don't even ask that question about ahankar, because if you ask that question and you know that you are not any role that you really play, that none of them belong to you, you suddenly lose your identity. So who am I then? So that question is very dangerous question, because then who am I? If I'm not this, I'm not that, then who am I? That needs to be answered also. You are Satchidananda. Because only the question is raised and answer is not given, then it'll be a problem. Shooting the arrows in the sky, and there's no aim or goal for that. All right. So that is the simple answer there. Okay, next question is Bhaja Govindam, verse 11. Ma Guru Dana Yavana Garvam Arati Nimeshat Kala Sarvam. See, same thing. Garvam Sarvam A Harati. Ma Guru Dana Jana Yavana Garvam Harati Nimeshat Kala Sarvam. Garvam Harati. Kalaha Garvam Arati. Kalaha time. The change that takes pala means that which changes. The time will take away all your identifications. And where are we, our identification? Dana, Jana, Yovana. In wealth, in people, in one's own youthfulness, all these things we have garvam. Garvam means ego. In that, don't have ego. Ma, kuru, don't have. Dana, jana, yauvana, garvam. Do not have ego about your wealth or people or your youthfulness, etc. Harati nimeshat. Within no time, time can remove it. Harati nimeshat kala saruvam. And how do I do that? How do I not allow ego to take away, ego to cause this problem? Okay, ego will cause the problem. How can I allow time not to cause this problem with my ego? Maya mayamidam akhilam buddhva. Understand the nature of everything is subject to change, and therefore none of them are really permanent. Brahmapadam tvam pravisha viditva. Enter into the Brahmanhood, the true nature of yours, having understood. Viditva pravisha. Knowingly you enter. So, question. Please provide practical tips to dissipate and exhaust false personality formed by association with wealth, social identity, sense of pride caused by feeling youthful, etc. That is what it is similar to the question that is raised in the previous one, chapter 14 of self-unfoldment, that these identifications are relative. Now there is a, if you go further, you study, you will understand. There is one book called Panchadashi. In that Panchadashi is an elaborate explanation on various topics on Vedanta. And in that, the nature of everything of the world is neither real nor unreal. It is explained very detailed about that. There are certain philosophies, even at the time of Shankaracharya was there, or even before, which concluded that the world is real, experiences are real, and everything is solid reality. Objects are real, the world and experiences are real, emotions are real, thoughts are real, everything is real. We never ask the reality of any one of these things. And if you take Christianity, Islam, Judaism, and such other Semitic religious texts, they never question the reality of the world. God created the world and it is real, right? So, for such philosophies, what is called moksha or freedom? If world is real, then life is real, joys and sorrows are real, ups and downs are real, happiness and success and failure are real, gain and loss are real, everything is real. So if in this case of everything being real, where is the possibility of freedom? What is freedom? What is moksha? From their precept, freedom, liberation is going to abode of God, where God protects you completely from all these vicissitudes. So there is no doubt about this. In their mind, that is what it is. Even the tradition of Hinduism, which has Dvaita Marga, the very word Dvaita means I am independent, I am different from God. That is Dvaita. When I am different from God, what it means is I, a product, a caused entity, including the world. I means I as well as the world. World is also like me. World is what? Chairs and tables and trees and plants and the mountains. Everything is created like I am created. So all that are created is different from the creator. This is the Dvaitam. So creator is real. Created is also real. That is Dvaitam. That created is always conditioned by the creation. Obviously, therefore, freedom means creator out of his grace taking me into his uh, hand and protecting from the changes that are there in the creation. Whether it is Vaishnavas will believe in going to Vaikuntha, and the Shaivas believe in going to Shivaloka, and etc. So this is true as much as it is true with Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, etc. Okay, this is one side. Okay. The other side is Buddhists, who do not give any reality to the world. For them, moksha or nirvana, so to say, is experienced when you know nothing is there. So what is moksha there? Because they don't bring God here. Because if only world is real, there is God, no? There is no God. In Buddhism, there is nothing called God there. So then what is moksha or nirvana there? Knowing that there is nothing. Shunyam. You are also shunyam only. You also don't exist. Nothing is existing. It's just imaginations. So one side world is absolutely real, and moksha is God showing his grace by taking you to in his hand, in her hand, or whatever it is. Okay. Now, on the other end of the spectrum is nothing is real, unreal. Everything is unreal. So Vedanta neither believes in the reality of the world, not in the unreality of the world also. That's why the study is important. Now you see, if the world is real, what is there to learn? Tell me. We have to only learn how to love God. Simple. so that he will protect us. Correct? So there is nothing called study. There is nothing to think. There's nothing to analyze, nothing to discuss, nothing to contemplate on. All that you need to do is Bhagavan. Pahi pahi me Bhagavan. Oh, protect me because I'm in trouble. You have to trouble. Sankata Kale Venkataramana, you take care of it. Then that's all. It's finished. There it ends. There's no need for study. Bhajan karo, pujan karo, bas. Nothing else to be done. See, again, I am not making fun of any of those things. They are all valid for people who believe in that. I have no doubt about that. There is nothing I am talking ill of it. Please don't think it that way. But that is the tradition. That is how it is. I'm just stating the fact. There's no need for study. There is no need for contemplation. There's no need for dhyanam, etc. All you do is remember the Lord and He will protect you. If you have complete faith in this philosophy, there's nothing wrong in that. You'll be okay. On the other hand, Buddhism and Jainism, who believe not in God, consider the world doesn't exist. Therefore, God doesn't exist for them. So there is some amount of teaching is necessary because they have to tell you how it is not there. Why it is all your imagination. Come out of this imagination. Often the children ask this question, no? I ask the children, I have a problem here. You give me a solution. I tell the child, what's the question? So imagine if you are in a huge lake, imagine you are pushed into a huge lake which is filled with crocodiles. And you have to cross over to the other side. No bridge, no boat. How will you do it? How will you do it? The answer to that is stop imagining. That's all it is. Because the first statement is what? Imagine that you are in a pushed into the lake and which is full of crocodiles, etc. How do you get out? Stop imagining. So this is what Buddhism says. Stop imagining. That's all simple. What is there to think about? Just stop imagining. How to stop imagining is what I have to tell you. Sarvam shanikam shanikam sarvam dukkam dukkam. That's it. Now, Vedanta is not that. It proves to you the world is neither real nor unreal. How? It is not unreal because you are experiencing it. Can you deny your own experience? See, if somebody goes to a doctor with a headache and he says, I have a headache. A doctor smiles and says, if you have a head, it'll ache. I am experiencing a headache. What are you talking? I am having a headache. Okay, let me do some tests. So he takes a blood test and this and test, MRI, whatever it is. And then with all that data available to him, he looks at all of them. In my opinion, with all the data available to me, you don't have a headache. Are Buddhu, whatever be the statement, whatever be your what you call lab analysis, I am having a headache. Now, your headache, I cannot experience. Similarly, if you say the world doesn't exist, you don't, I experience the world. What do you mean? If I touch the fire, it is hot. Don't say it is not. So on the one hand, you cannot discount or say that the world doesn't exist. It's not real. One side. Okay. On the other side, is it real in the sense it is always there? No, it's not. If I continue to talk in another 1 hour, you all go to sleep. Or even if I don't, in another 6 hours or so, you go to a state of no existence of the world. And you get into another world of experience called dream. And when you wake up, that dream that which you experience. There's nothing wrong. You are experiencing that world or not. Every night when you are dreaming, you are experiencing that world. Is it not true? Upon waking up, that particular experience ends only to tell you that it doesn't exist. Actually, it never existed. So experience alone cannot prove the reality of a thing. It can only prove the relative reality of the thing, not the absolute reality. If you go to Disneyland and then there is a ride, the mountain ride or mountain whatever. So you go there, wow, it's as though you are actually going into that outer space. It may make you feel like that. 10 or 15 minutes of your experience, whatever. You are actually sitting in one chair which is not moving an inch. And it is only shaking and moving like this. In itself, it is not moving forward or backward. It's moving in one same place. It is moving all the turns and all that, making you feel you are traveling at 2000 miles an hour speed into the planets, into the galaxy. And those experiences are so real until every lights are on. I'm in the same place. Nothing happened. But during that experience, it has a resemblance of reality. Similarly, Vedanta says this world has the resemblance of reality, experienced all right, but upon knowing that it is only an appearance, this very world which you are experiencing, sorrows and joys, etc., you can be there itself be relieved. You don't need to go anywhere. No Vaikuntha Lok, no Shivalok, no other. Here itself you realize that this is mere, mind's projections. Though experienced. There's no doubt about that. But it has no reality. Now, you may say, when I put my hand in the fire, does it not burn? It will burn. Why? Both the fire and the skin, both are relative only. A relative skin or the body will experience the relative heat of the fire. There's nothing wrong in that. So, this is subject to falsification upon inquiry, is called mithya. Maya mithya rupa. Maya is mithya rupa. It has only appearance of reality, resemblance of reality, until questioned. That is very important. If you don't question, it is real. If you question, it becomes unreal. Like a dream, until you wake up, it is real. Once you wake up, it has become unreal. Correct? So, until vichara, jnana vichara takes place, this world has reality. When you inquire about its reality through correct knowledge, it becomes unreal. That's why Maya Mayam Idam Akilam, underline Buddhva. Underline that 3 times. Upon knowing, not by itself. Then Brahma Padam Pravisha. Then you enter the nature of Brahman. This is the standpoint of Vedanta. It neither believes in the reality of the world per Dvaitam, nor in the unreality of the world as explained in the Buddhism, but it accounts for both in the sense the reality of the world is true until it is questioned, and upon questioning you see the unreality of it even though you experience it. That's why the word in Dakshinamurti Stotram and many other places, the thing is used as Maya, Mayavi, magician. From magician standpoint, whatever he shows, It's not real to him. Whereas you, the audience, it is so, so real, right? The magician, when he does things, he does, making you believe, but he's not deluded by what he does. Mm. So, if you become, and if you are just an audience, you will be carried away by the magic he does. When you become his apprentice and you know the trick, then you go back to the audience. Then what will you do? You know he's fooling you. You see how he's fooling. I know what he's doing. You want me to tell you? No, then I will lose all the fun. Okay. So the Sant Mahatmas are knowing the tricks of what is going on, Maya's tricks. They tell us, do you want me to tell? No, no. So audience, please don't. We are just enjoying it. Please don't do anything. So when you become apprentice of God, and He will tell you, reveal you all the secret. This is how I'm doing with my Maya. Do you understand that? Okay. So the saints are only laughing all the time, looking at the audience. Okay. Yeah. Enjoying it, huh? I know exactly what he's doing. Hmm. All right, my test is over. Next test will be in the month of April. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkhabhat Bhavet. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.